The first buzzer beater of March Madness. This is interesting to see. Your daily sports podcast, News Narratives Takes Gambling. Chattanooga, University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. They take down Furman. What a great moment. Buzzer beaters are cool. Look at these people with their shirts off. What a great student section that is. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the shot. Yeah, welcome in. Pretty slow news day yesterday. LOL, what a sarcastic joke. Yes. Well, the NFL was active, folks. Get my spectacles here. So where should we start? We talked about Calvin Ridley because this is a daily sports podcast. We talked about him yesterday. So let's start with the top news. Essentially, the biggest story was Russell Wilson, but the first place you have to start is with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was extended by the Green Bay Packers. He then came out and said, I am staying, but I haven't signed anything yet. The deal was reportedly worth 4 years, $200 million with $153 guaranteed. And then immediately Jordan Love began trending on Twitter. Who's going to trade for Jordan Love? Rumors dropping all over the place. After Aaron Rodgers was traded, Russell Wilson was reportedly traded from the Seattle Seahawks to your Denver Broncos. So, what was the trade? The trade was the Broncos' first-round pick this year, second-round pick this year, first-round pick next year, second-round pick next year, a fifth-round pick this year, their former second-round draft pick quarterback Drew Lock, a defensive lineman named Shelby Harris, and another player to be named later. That player has subsequently been identified as former first-round pick Noah Fant. So again, 2022 first, 2022 second, 2022 fifth, 2023 first and second, and 3 starters. Russell Wilson he's getting older. That's a lot. That's a lot. It was also salary cap, or it's franchise tag day. A couple notable people were tagged and not tagged, and start at the top with Devante Adams, by far the number one free agent candidate this year to perhaps make it into free agency. He did not make it into free agency. He was tagged by the Green Bay Packers, who are allegedly going all in. They've tagged Devante Adams, and they kept Aaron Rodgers. And just real quick, I guess we could probably do this. Let's see if we can bring it up. No. Bam. Okay, that's good enough. Looking at the odds to win the Super Bowl per FanDuel, Buffalo still number 1. Green Bay now number 2, with the Denver Broncos making it into the top 5. So the odds now have 2 newcomers, and the odds have changed. Kansas City has gone down 250 points. Buffalo's gone down 100 plus 100 points. So the odds have gone down. LA has gone up. Makes Seattle easier to beat, of course. Kansas City goes down because Denver got better. Denver goes up because Denver got better. San Francisco to LA, of course, got up because Seattle got worse. Little easier to make the playoffs and whatever. I guess it's the minute details go a long way. So let's go through who was tagged and who wasn't. If this matters, the NFL is more important to me than whatever's going on in the other sports, which we will discuss. The Bengals used the franchise tag on Jesse Bates. That was a top defensive candidate. The Browns used the franchise tag on former first-round pick David Njoku, a tight end, which was weird. Another tight end got tagged. That was Dalton Schultz of the Cowboys. Tight ends make $10.9 million. The way that it works, if you don't know, the franchise tag is a tool that the owners collectively bargain for so that players who wanted to go to free agency, the team could be like, actually, you're way too good. We're going to do this. But by doing that, they're required to pay that player for a year a salary dictated by the market, so top of market value. So that means for 1 year, these players will sort of be one of, if not the highest paid player at their position. And the number is set and agreed upon unanimously. So for a franchise tag wide receiver is $20.5 million. A franchise tag for a tight end is $10.9. Franchise tag for a safety is $12.9. We've got a left tackle that's $16.6 million. That's Cam Robinson for Jacksonville Jaguars. That has massive impacts on drafts, of course, because a lot of people had the odds-on favorite to be drafted first overall as either Aiden Hutchinson, the DN from Michigan, or Ikem Ekwonu, left tackle from North Carolina State, or left tackle from Alabama, Evan Neal. Now, Aiden Hutchinson has become the prohibitive favorite for the Jacksonville Jaguars because they franchise tagged their left tackle Cam Robinson, which was an easy move, but that's really stupid in my opinion. That doesn't mean they're not going to draft a left tackle. Maybe they want to draft one of these guys as a right tackle. We'll see. Who knows? So Cam Robinson was tagged. Same thing for Orlando Brown of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mike Gesicki was tagged, another tight end from Miami, which was weird. Notably, Chris Godwin was tagged for Tampa, and now he did not get the same top of market value that Devante Adams did. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it has to do with when they were drafted or how old they are or whatever. Godwin got 19.1, so he's missing out on like $2 million essentially. New England notably did not use their franchise tag on Pro Bowl corner J.C. Jackson. I think Jackson was top 5 in the interceptions in the NFL a couple years ago. So some shit went down. Now a bunch of quarterbacks on the trade block, and we've seen the price tag. The Jared Goff rumors being traded, they're heating up. There are also rumors that Jordan Love is on a lot of people's radars. The Colts and the Lions have been rumored to be interested in Jordan Love. The Lions have been rumored to be shopping Jared Goff. We know it's confirmed that the Broncos had to outbid the Washington Commanders for Russell Wilson. So now they're out in the cold. And quarterbacks on the trade market and signing market now are the best two free agents are Mitchell Trubisky and Jameis Winston. They have a lot of experience. They've won a lot of games. They're not great, but they're okay. The trade market right now is down to probably the hottest candidates right now, and the rumors are Jimmy Garoppolo, who the Niners are clearly looking to move. Derek Carr has been rumored to be on the block. Obviously, the Deshaun Watson thing, there's no movement on that. We do have some movement on the legal case, however, which we can discuss. So Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Jimmy Garoppolo, those are trade candidates that people are really interested. Derek Carr, like I said, he's been in there. We do have Kyler news. Kyler did not delete all those pictures on Instagram. He simply archived them, and now they've been unarchived. So I suspect maybe we'll have some Kyler news. God, he's such a kid. I hate that. He's such a kid. That's so annoying. I'm going to bring up this Jerry Jeudy tweet. Look at this. Here's Jerry Jeudy's tweets. Wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. See, because he had like a sad face, a discouraged sad face when the Aaron Rodgers thing came out that they weren't going to get him, and then he got a happy face when they got Russell Wilson. The NFC or the AFC West, man. Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, two basically definite Hall of Famers, plus also Derek Carr, who's really good. So we'll see what the Raiders are going to have to do. Other than that, I'm not sure what quarterback movement is going to happen, but the Jared Goff stuff is heating up. It's pretty interesting stuff. As far as the Deshaun Watson, we found out that this week, I think on Friday, as we record this, the district attorney in Houston, which is where the legal matter, because remember, he's civilly accused of sexually harassing, and I don't know if it's assault, I don't know the exact wordage, but sexual misconduct against a bunch of women in like a class action lawsuit. But then there are also a couple of women who have complained criminally and are pressing charges. So in order, the next step is for the district attorney to impanel a grand jury and present his or her case in this instance, that this should go to trial. The grand jury will look at the evidence, and the grand jury is not the same burden of proof. It's just basically more likely than not that there's something illegal going on. And that's going to happen on Friday. Also, Deshaun Watson, who has had multiple women deposed, women have been deposed and given statements in the civil case. He's now going to be compelled by a judge. It's time for him to sit for a deposition. And depositions are intense. Yeah, if they ask you a question, you have to answer it, essentially. It's, they're intense. So that's going to come out this Friday. People think there is going to be a legal situation settled, or at least we'll have some direction. After that, we don't know the quarterback movement of Deshaun Watson. Other than that, like, things are heating up, man. I mean, we'll see. I do, as the more I think about it, because between the Deshaun Watson thing and between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, I think Jared Goff's going to get moved sooner rather than later, and I'll tell you why. The thing that's impacting the quarterback market and why things are getting more aggressive is that this is a down year for the NFL draft in terms of guys that can come in and start right away and guys that people think are going to be good. It's unanimously not It's a class that has a lot of risk and not a lot of high certainty stuff. But as we know, that doesn't always pan out. Josh Rosen, I mean, last year, I thought Justin Fields and Zach Wilson looked sketchy. We haven't even seen Trey Lance yet. I mean, that happens. Sam Darnold is a bust. But the real impact factor here is that the legends are retiring in the last 4 or 5 years. And as a result of that, there are positions that are opening up, and the people that are cycling around to fill them are not as good, just period. So since 2015, Peyton Manning is retired, Ben Roethlisberger is retired, Phillip Rivers is retired, Tom Brady is retired, Drew Brees is retired, Eli Manning has retired. And when that happens, all within a couple of years, you get these new crops of starting quarterbacks, but those guys were needed to replace, the B-plus level starters like Nick Foles, no disrespect to Nick Foles. And when that doesn't happen, you're like, well, we actually have less now. And it seems like there are more and more quarterbacks coming into the league, but we have less. So people are going to overpay. I have a suspicion that Jared Goff will end up, I think he's going to the Colts. I think they're going to I think Carson Wentz is going to the Steelers. I think Jared Goff's going to the Colts, but I don't know anything. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to some NBA news. You may have seen this circulating on Twitter. It is one of the funnier things that I've ever seen. I do not feel bad for Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook said in an interview that the internet and fans are referring to him as Westbrick. He takes a lot of shots. He's a very good player. He averaged a triple-double for multiple seasons in a row. It's unbelievable. He's one of the hardest workers in sports. He's unreal. You'd love to have a guy like this for your team. He's one of the only NBA players that I look at. I'm like, yeah, that guy for sure 100% could play in the NFL at some position. But he said in an interview that calling him Westbrook shames him, and it shames his family, and it ruins his legacy. Buddy, first of all, it's a perfect nickname. Secondly, stop shooting bricks, dude. I don't know. You control it. And you can't, it's just like any other bully, and I can't tell you enough how much I don't care about cancel culture. Cancel culture and this bully culture is only a problem, in my opinion, if it targets someone who doesn't make their living and who doesn't have a huge investment in being notable or having notoriety or being famous. If you're an actor or an actress or a rock star or an athlete and you get quote-unquote canceled, that's no different than the thumbs up or thumbs down in the gladiatorial games. And I know that that's not the greatest ethical comparison, but that's literally being canceled. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. So while you're happy to make money on all of these millions of people being obsessed with you, well, then they want to make fun of you. That's tough shit. You got to take it. When there's some hourly worker who has an opinion that maybe they shouldn't have, and then they get canceled, and people go out of their way to target this average person who just is, maybe needs to wake up a little bit and educate themselves, but also doesn't deserve to have like this insane amount of harassment. Part of having the blue check mark and part of having the millions and being famous is that you can get canceled. But you're happy to take the money when the crowd gives you the thumbs up, when you have the thumbs up, hey, this is hurting my legacy. Yeah, well, tough titties. Sucks to suck. It literally sucks to suck. As I get older, it's crazy how much more poignant and accurate that becomes. NBA scores, anything interesting of note? Looking over them, no, not really. The teams that were supposed to win won. Basically the Nets and the Hornets. We do have an update on the Ben Simmons situation. So as we sit here today is March 9th. March 10th, that's the day that Ben Simmons returns to Philadelphia. He is preemptively filing a complaint against the fans of Philadelphia for how he's going to be treated. He will be there. He will not be playing. Some sort of injury situation, but he is going to be harassed aggressively. And he's already complaining about it, even though it didn't happen. That's the kind of cancel culture thing I am saying, because he makes $25 million per year. Is that accurate? I think actually he might make more than that. NHL scores last night. Anything interesting happened? Yes. People are scoring goals out their asses. The Blackhawks beat the Ducks 8-3. The Arizona Coyotes beat the Red Wings 9-2. The Maple Leafs beat the Kraken 6-4. Jets beat the Lightning 7-4. Good for them. The Lightning are really good. Conference tournaments are starting. We opened the show with that buzzer beater with Chattanooga beating Furman. Nothing really of note happening in conference tournaments. Utah Valley beat Chicago State in the WHAC basketball tournament. Good for them. The big boy conference tournaments get started soon. I think the ACC started. The ACC may have started yesterday. Got Syracuse and Florida State today. Any other big ones? Nevada and New Mexico. That's an interesting one in the Mountain West. They start today. Any other big dogs? Oregon State. One of those guys. Oh, the SEC tournament makes me sad. Mississippi plays Missouri. They're both bad. Nebraska and Northwestern. They're both bad. All of these things happen today and tonight. It's a good day to watch some college basketball, especially at work conference tournaments. And, of course, the first round of the NCAA tournament is really the only time you can pull that kind of thing off. Russell Westbrick. That's just too funny. Oh, man. Got some not sad news, but kind of scary, weird news. After many surgeries on his lower body, Deion Sanders had to have a cleanup surgery yesterday. That cleanup surgery was to amputate 2 of his toes due to blood clots from other surgeries. If you go under the knife over and over and over again, it's one of the risks of being a professional athlete. You keep doing that, this kind of thing can happen. I don't know if there was a medical mistake or whatever, but Deion hoping for a speedy recovery for like the fastest, most exciting player of the 90s. Prime time, baby. Like, rate, review, subscribe. We'll be back and better than ever tomorrow morning.